Hi, everyone. Good morning. How is everybody doing? Just going to give a second for the notifications to come out. Let's check out some of these restream. Not that one. Oh, my. Oh, my goodness. So today, just kind of chat, hang out, talk about some of the stuff that's been going on in the world, that's been going on in this country, and some of the stuff that's been going on in true crime. I do at some point want to watch the Dateline thing with about Brian Koberger. That trial is coming up here soon, and Dateline, it sounds like, had a lot of information that they probably should not have had. So it's really making a lot of people question, who leaked the information. Was it the state? Was it the defense? Who put that all out there? But I think personally, based off of what I'm hearing was done in the thing they did on Dateline, that there is likely going to be a very good case against Brian Koberger, and that he is going to spend eternity in prison. I honestly wish they would go after the death penalty. I don't know if they're going to or not. So say hello, whoever is here chit chatting, watching. I see you guys. I just don't know who you are. It's good to see whoever it is, though. Hi, Dandelion. Good morning. Good morning, CL. Good to see you guys. I don't think it's working on my end. Why is it only showing the chat over there? I wonder. Hmm. Let me see. I don't know. Hmm. Let me see if this shows up. No, there it goes. It's connected now. Okay. So anyway, so we're just gonna kind of chit chat. A lot of you guys have been asking me when I'm gonna go live. I've been so busy. Yesterday we went to the zoo, and then we had a baseball game for my son. They actually won 21-2. It was a brutal game. They didn't even get 3 outs their last time up to bat. They just kind of switched who was up to bat after they hit the 21 mark. It was just very, very sad for the other team. Like, I felt horrible for them because they just got completely annihilated. But we got baseball for him, baseball for my 2 girls, and then, I also work a full-time job, and so I have been extremely busy, this summer, so I do apologize that I haven't been live nearly as often as I would like to be. It's just one of those things where, sleuth mom, just that, mom comes first always. So, hopefully, though, we can get some live streams in and talk about some of the stuff that's been going on. I think the biggest thing right now in the headlines that I have been looking into and just kind of uh, following, I guess, in my own personal time, is things like this Diddy trial. Um, and then also, obviously the stuff going on in this country as far as pretty much everything, as far as executive orders and the different types of political things going on. Huge win at the Supreme Court with them allowing Trump to uh, deport things or deport Venezuelans and to remove those orders of protection against those individuals and allow them to remove their temporary status. So that was a big thing that happened yesterday Today, they are they are hi crazy chicken lady. How are you? I'm doing really well, really well. Your new chicks are adorable. And then of course Joe Biden. The stuff with Joe Biden and his diagnosis, which they are just now coming out about. I honestly I believe Joe Biden will probably die within the next couple months because of that diagnosis. If honestly, I hate to say this, but if he's not already gone, like, and that's just the conspiracy theory side of me coming out because honestly, I think that this is something that he has had for years. I think they have covered it up for years and there's a lot of questions about it. And one of the things that is floating around is a video of him in 2022 saying that he had cancer. He said it right during a speech that he had cancer. And they, at that time, was like, oh, well, that was just, President Biden just misspoke and blah, blah, blah. And they tried to brush it under the rug. And so here we are now, they are confirming that he does have this diagnosis. Oddly enough, the treatments for prostate cancer and the things that he would have went to could have led to some of his dementia like um, moments that he was having. The treatment itself can cause you to be fatigued. It can cause you to have a foggy mind and things like that. And so it really makes you question just how long exactly things were going on. It's rough. It's very rough. Everything. Hi, Sluice. How are you? So lots of different things taking place, though, basically throughout this country. Here it is. Here's the video of him back in 2022 for those of you guys who haven't seen it. Let me pull it up.
And because it was a four-lane highway that was accessible, and because it was a four-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? You had to put on your windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer, and why can't for the longest time Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation. And because it was a four-lane highway.
All right, so that was back in 2022 that he had said that he had cancer. They may have found the users of Biden's auto pen. No, I did not see that. It's one of those things. I'm getting frustrated, honestly, with Pam Bondi and Cash Patel. I hate to say that because I am, in support of whatever it is that they are trying to do and things like that. But I just don't think that they are actually moving fast enough with I don't think that we are still going to see any arrest. I think that treason and many other types of crimes have been committed by different members of Congress on both the Republican and the Democrat side. I think it's something that has happened for years, and I still do not think that we are going to see not one political person actually be held accountable for the different types of crimes. I think that is why we still have not seen the Epstein list, even though they said that they were going to release it. I think that that is why we still will not see arrest in Diddy's outside of Diddy, right? They always have like a fall guy. They have a fall guy that goes down for the crimes and everybody gets, oh, I can't believe that happened. But here's the thing, Diddy was not the only person at his freak off parties. He was not the only person who was in those rooms hurting people. Epstein was not the only person in his parties. He was not the only person who was at his island. He was not the only person who was engaging in illegal criminal activity against children. He's not the only person on the videos that Pam Bondi has come out and said that they have. And yet, we're not seeing any of these people be arrested. And I think the reality of the situation is if they were to arrest every person who was involved in these crimes, we would be left with very, very few members of our government. We would be left with very, very few members of the courts. We would be left with very, very few people who did not engage in these types of crimes. And I think that's the sad, disturbing reality. But I'm okay with that. They all need held accountable. They all need pulled out of there. And we need to get the evil out of our government. We need to get the evil out. And I don't think that Pam Bondi is ever going to do it. I think that we are going to continue to see people get slaps on the wrist, and you might see, one or two people get pulled out. Like, for example, the congresswoman who body checked an ICE officer. They filed charges against her. Hold on. Let me pull up her name. They filed charges against her, but in their eyes, she's just a nobody. They'll throw her away and replace her with another congresswoman, but you're never going to see Chuck Schumer get arrested. You're never going to see the members of the Republican Party who have been involved in these crimes, and I do think that there are some on our side too. Um, you're not going to see that. You're not going to see half of Hollywood get arrested, if not more. You're not gonna see musicians and things like that. You're not gonna see these judges who have probably engaged in this activity, and that's why they give such light sentences to these horrible offenders. You're not gonna see them all get arrested, and that upsets me, because I don't think it's for lack of Trump wanting that to happen or for certain members of our Congress to want it to happen. But I just don't think that as long as the Senate is in charge of approving, or the Congress is in charge of approving who is getting put into these positions, they are never going to elect somebody who is not for them. They are never going to elect somebody or allow the elected individual, I should say, to appoint somebody who who is going to come after them. Um, and I do think that there is probably a certain level of fear for whoever gets put into these positions to not act on these Congress people and these elected officials and these judges and whoever else is involved. Certain level of fear that they would get unalived for going after these individuals. So really, until we have somebody who is completely fearless, until we have somebody who is completely fearless in these positions and who is completely protected, um, I don't think that we're going to ever see progress towards actually holding this evil accountable. Um, and it's frustrating because you know, I've been watching different live streams about like, oh, this is coming and bombshell indictment or bombshell information in the Epstein case, bombshell information in Diddy, blah blah blah. And it's like, is it really a bombshell though? It's going to be a bombshell if I actually see people in handcuffs. It's going to be a bombshell if I actually see individuals who have gone through these, or individuals who are arrested actually get held accountable. Then you can tell me it's a bombshell. But until then, this congresswoman, even who was arrested, they did finally file charges against her. So not really arrested, but they filed charges against her for the confrontation at the ICE facilities. And she was aggressive towards members of ICE. She did closed fist punch one of them and things like that. They did they are holding her accountable, quote unquote. Um, However, I really think that she's probably not going to serve any actual jail time. She'll probably get off with fines and things like that. This is just them doing a little slap on the wrist so that we can see this taking place. They already dropped the charges for the mayor who was also arrested in this situation. So no real accountability there. And it's just frustrating. I mean, could you imagine if a plainclothes citizen were to punch an ICE officer or to push an ICE officer? Could you imagine if a plainclothes citizen would have pushed their way into a jail or into any protected area? You're not going to get off with just a slap on the wrist. Yet that's what happens. Yeah, major prison time will be a bombshell. Yep, it's all a flex. I agree. I agree, Flat. I agree, Sluice. Hi, Ringo. Hi, Seal. So the entire situation to me, like just been following and just kind of watching to see what exactly is going to happen, right? What exactly is going to take place um, with the RFK files. We have the RFK files, and they are like, oh, the CIA did this, and the CIA did that, and the CIA set up this murder, and they were the ones who were in charge of all of this. And then we have the documents that they're talking about surrounding Trump's attempted assassinations and things like that. And okay, we have all this information saying that the FBI and the CIA were involved in this whole plot. Yet who has been arrested? Who has been arrested? And why the heck in our country do we allow the CIA to plot against America? Like, why is something that is the Central Intelligence Agency is supposed to be here to protect Americans and to protect our sovereignty and to protect our national intelligence and things like that, and then it turns out that they plot against us. They plot against us. They plot against the American people. They plot against the American presidents. They plot against all of these things to keep this I don't even know, like, this wave of power in control. Yeah, the release of the MLK files too. Yeah, where are they? There's also still files missing. Right. It's just all a dog and pony show. And it's infuriating. But if we know the CIA is behind all of this stuff, why aren't they considered like a terrorist organization at this point? Why do they hold so much power that they're able to plot the assassination of presidents? How the heck is that okay? Yeah, aren't they employees of our government? Question mark. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And so it just baffles me that we're just like sitting here like, oh well, it's okay because the CIA did it, and the CIA is watching this and watching that, and they're involved in all these things, and it's like, what the heck? Like every conspiracy theory that has ever come out about the CIA, I mean, I guess it's all right. Like it's just mind blowing. It's just absolutely mind blowing. But they just make you feel crazy for even questioning it. I did too. I had high hopes of seeing major changes and arrest, and we're not seeing anything. And then what we are seeing is Congress not doing a dang thing. 5 bills. President Trump has signed 5 bills into a law. 137 executive orders, but only 5 bills. He is doing everything he can to try to change things and to try to change the narrative of our country and to try to fix things. And our deep state congressmen that we have in there, unfortunately, are doing no action. I mean, not even just no action. They are doing the least amount of action that has ever occurred. Ever. 5 bills. And it's like, excuse me? Like, we are counting on you guys to get the job done. He can sign whatever he wants, but in 4 years, everything that he does ends. All these lawsuits and everything else like that they are facing because of the constant state of these district judges challenging absolutely everything and lawsuits being filed left and right, stopping absolutely everything that he is trying to fix. All of that has to be done by Congress. They have to codify these laws or these executive orders to make them laws, and we have a majority. It's not a big majority. The Republicans have the majority in Congress right now, though. Why are they doing nothing? It is so infuriating that they are doing nothing. And I don't even know I don't even know what to think. I don't You can't fix Trump can't fix what is broken in our country, as long as these people who have broke our country and want it to stay this way continue to stay in power. They continue, even in the Republican Party, to hold the majority of the seats of the Republican Party. These individuals who are all funded by pharmaceutical companies, who are all funded by the things that are all funded by the people who want our country to stay broken and stay evil. They are funded by these individuals, and so they will never pass a law that goes against the people that fund them. And it's infuriating. And it happens on both parties. I think that there are people who enter into the political realm because they honest to goodness want to make a difference. They honest to goodness want to try to help the American people on both sides. I think there are Democrats and Republicans that have been elected within the last, I would say, let's say 3 election cycles, because they honestly want to make a change for the American people, and they will never be able to, because the individuals who have been in office for the last 20 to 30 years are still continuing to be there, and they are still pushing the establishment. They are still pushing and stopping these individuals who sneak through the cracks that are not establishment. They're still stopping their ability to actually make a change. They are still stopping Trump's ability to actually make a change and to actually get our country on the right step. And you have to wonder, is this all just linked to individuals where that are funding things like you hear Soros' name get thrown around a lot and things like that? These pharmaceutical companies that are funding these individuals by millions of dollars a year and things like that. Is it just that, or is it places like China also funding these individuals who are allowing all of this to take on or to go down? It's infuriating. It's infuriating. So I don't know. I don't know. I've just been watching the news and I'm just like, oh, like here we go again. But I just wish there was change. Why are they even there that long? I know. They should never not be able to run more than 2 times. That'll never happen though. Uh, Term limits for Congress will never happen as long as Congress is who has to vote on term limits. Period. As long as Congress is the one who decides when Congress is able to leave and how much money they make and who they're allowed to accept bribes from and things like that. As long as Congress is who decides all of that, we're never going to see a change. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. And that sucks. But it's the reality. Like we can't keep fooling ourselves to think, "Oh man, they're finally going to pass term limits." It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Let me show you. List of Congress members by years. Okay? Here we go. 59 years for John Dingell, Michigan. 59 years this man has been in office. Why? Oh, wait. Like he's no longer. Hold on. Let me see. But still, okay, so he's not in office anymore. He's out in 2015 it says. But look at these. I want to see who's actually still in office though. Let me see. Do they have it sorted? Okay, so it looks like the green people are still in office. Maybe. He is the dean of, let me see. So he's still in office. Yeah, he's a ranking member of the financial committee. So let's see here. So anybody who is green which is going to be a lot. So this is everybody who's ever been in Congress. How about that? So let's see. Currently in office, Chuck Gaisley, Republican from Iowa, 50 years, 137 days. What? Why? Like, come on, Iowa, do better. Vote him out. Vote somebody else in. Come on, Massachusetts, Ed Markey, 48 years. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican. All of these people, in my opinion, are establishment if they are still in office all this time. That's ridiculous. This guy says present, but he's not green. So where is he at? He was the third longest serving senator in history, 48 years. That's crazy. They shouldn't be holding these seats until they die, you guys. Like, we have to vote today for our local election. It's our primaries today. I have to go vote. And it's just it's the same people. And nobody even runs against them half the time. Like, God, come on. 44 years for Ron Wyden, Democrat. 44 years for Chuck Schumer. 44 years for Hal Rogers. 44 years for Chris Smith. 44 years for Steny Hoyer. Why? Guys, in your primary elections, please, please, if you have primary elections, go and vote new blood in. Stop relying on just the same old fogies to continuously be there for years and years and years. There's no reason for this. Dick Durbin, Marcy Kaptur, sorry, both Democrats, but there are just as many Republicans. Mitch McConnell, 40 years. 40 freaking years. 37 years. She's not still in office, is she? She's out. She was out in 2023. Yeah. But why do they have her green still? What does she still do? So she still currently represents the 11th district. Is this up to date? It might be out of date because I feel like she's out. She's still in there? Yeah, Robert Byrd was in office forever. It's just ridiculous. I thought we were rid of her. People are becoming complacent. Where are the fired up? Yeah, today is primary elections in a lot of places. Are you guys going to vote in the primaries, or are you just going to let these same individuals continue to stay put? And I think people forget about primary elections and nobody pays attention. And then it comes time to vote on election day, and you have no choice but to vote for the people who continue to be in there after the primaries. The primary election is what changes who is representing your party come election day. 36 years for Frank and Richard, New Jersey and Massachusetts. That's all House. So let's look at the Senate now. So Chuck Grassley, again, Iowa. Dude, you guys got to get some fresh blood in there. Mitch McConnell. It's crazy. Hal Rogers, 44 years. Chris Smith, 44 years. Steny Hoyer, 44 years. Is that Marcy lady again? This must be repeating. It's just too many years. And this is only going down to 36 years. So how many have been in there for 20 to 30 years? Y'all need to shorten your names. That's funny. I don't know. Current 13 longest serving senators and House members. Let's see who these are. 87% of Americans support term limits. Do you know why we will never have term limits? Because they vote for themselves. I agree. Yeah, local elections are so important. So, so important. Your local elections will affect you almost as much, if not more, than your nationwide ones. That's who affects your local taxes. That's who affects your school taxes. That's who affects your local judicial branch as far as like your judges and things like that. You know what I mean? Like go vote in your local elections. Check and see. Do you guys have primaries today? Who all has primaries today? I know I do. Where are their primary elections today? Today is the 2025 PA primary, so we know that. This is all of PA, guys. All of PA. But if mine is today, y'all got some other stuff going on too. New Jersey, you guys are going to be voting in June for a new governor. That's important. You know, we only focus on the vote whenever it comes to the president, and we had record turnouts for this last election. But the fact of the matter is, guys, we need turnouts in every election. Every election. Everyone in your state hates your politicians. Well, April 1st was your primary election seal. Did anybody go to change your current or did you guys go vote to get the current people out of office? Like that's the type of stuff you got to look up. April 1st though was your primaries to change who is currently in office so that you can vote on different people come election day. Let's see. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to harp it. Can you have a new governor, please? Oh, let me see. When's yours? I don't see anything coming up for you guys, Annie. Just kind of checked real quick. I don't know. It's just infuriating. Let me see. You voted, but no change. Yeah. It's frustrating. It's one of those things where how many people are going out to vote? You know what I mean? Hold on one second, guys.
Have you ever wondered what it was like inside of that mysterious blue and white striped building known as the Temple on Jeffrey Epstein's private island in the Virgin Islands. Now, we've obtained footage, video, and images inside this building, and we're going to give it to you so that you can help us solve the mystery of this bizarre structure. Sources have come to OMG inspired by our reports on the British royal family and have given us footage of inside this building shortly after Jeffrey Epstein's arrest. Now, that footage inside the temple is live right now on our website, o'keefemediagroup.com. Subscribe now and join our investigation.
So he's been putting out these videos. Sorry, not to change gears here, but he's been putting out these videos of inside of the Epstein thing. Let me pull up the actual videos. My question is, why does he have these videos? Who put the videos out or gave them to James O'Keefe? Why is he able to release this stuff? And yet we still have no arrest. We still have no one held accountable. We still have no indication as to what all went on, right? Or what actually took place, things like that. We have none of that information. But it's all out here now. He's starting to release stuff day after day, ever since the Epstein victim was killed. And so how is that able to happen? Yet no arrest. And we have James O'Keefe is going to be helping to solve the mystery and looking into the mystery and trying to figure things out. Yet no one's being held accountable. Are we really just going to turn this into a social media, like documentary style release day after day, and release the footage and release the information like that, and then there will be nothing? It's very, very frustrating. It's very frustrating to me. So Benny Johnson posted the last couple things of James O'Keefe releasing the
Would you
footage.
canoe?
Let me pull up. Let me get to the actual footage.
Senator. Her name is Cindy McCain. She's been an ambassador. She was married to John McCain throughout his entire time in the U.S. Senate, where he sat on the Intel Committee. She's here at a human trafficking conference, and she says this about Jeffrey Epstein.
It hides in plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing.
We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing.
John McCain's wife. That's John McCain's wife that just spoke. A Republican senator. He was a Republican senator from Arizona. We all knew about Epstein. We all knew what he was doing. And nobody stopped him. Why? How many of them were customers? It's so infuriating. We'll never see accountability for any of this. Never.
Aspect that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him.
Well, your husband was on the Intel Committee, lady. Maybe you could ask some questions about this? I don't remember John McCain ever talking about Jeffrey Epstein at all. She's saying we all knew about him and that it hides in plain sight. Well, you know, the nature of evil actually is that it does hide in plain sight. It has to be very outward. It has to be very grandiose and grotesque. This is and always has been the nature of evil. Some of those evil people on earth are the Podesta brothers. They run the Democrat Party. They run Democrat presidents and administrations, up to and including the Obama administration and the Biden administration. Tony Podesta famously had some artwork on his walls, very disturbing and sick stuff, including children in horrifying positions, stuff that shouldn't even be legal. Speaking of demons, here's one of his pieces of art that the Podestas purchased. Again, these are the masterminds behind the modern Democrat Party. Children in cages being carted off by demons as they scream. The children are screaming in the cages and the demons are carrying them.
Like, who the heck even makes artwork like this? It's so disturbing. I don't even think it's people in power for sure and with money. I don't even think it has to do with lawyers, Annie, because they're not even being arrested. They're not even being held accountable. And anybody who is held accountable, Epstein was a very quick fall guy. They got him, they took him into prison, and then they killed him. And it's disturbing to me that Kash Patel just recently said, huge upstate about Jeffrey Epstein, and that he did in fact suicide himself. Nobody believes that even for a second. And so that's why I'm worried about Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, that we're never going to actually see them make a difference or do anything that even looks remotely like accountability. Is it an imagination though, Seal? I mean, it is a creepy imagination, but is it an imagination? We know the reality of how many missing children go out of the foster care and the CPS system. We know the reality of how many missing children have come across our borders. Where do they go? Where do they go? In my opinion, and the reality, I think, of a lot of things is that there is a huge child trafficking network. And a lot of the illegal immigrants that have crossed and the children that have been sent through the border with them, I think, have disappeared into that network. I think that the 300 to 600,000, depending on which year you look at, children that go missing from the foster care system are probably victims of this network of evil people that are abusing and doing God only knows what with the bodies of the children after they're done with them. Because I don't think they keep them alive for very long. That's just my opinion.
Off to torture them. This is the kind of art that was hanging on the wall, and it really does tell you something about who's running the modern Democrat Party. Again, these are the Podestas from the Podesta emails about spirit cooking dinners and pizza parties and hot dogs. Anyway, they're not the only predators and creeps to have strange wall hangings and decorations. Jeffrey Epstein had this famous photo painting of Bill Clinton in the famous blue dress. This is the blue dress that led to Bill Clinton's impeachment because it had all of his biological material splattered all over the front of it. Monica Lewinsky dress. What a strange photo. Bill Clinton in a dress. Where was it hanging? Oh, it was hanging in the entryway of Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan mansion. There it is. One of the few photos you see of the Manhattan mansion. You'll notice also the temple-like structure here. We'll get to that in just a second. What does this photo mean? It means I own you to Bill Clinton. That's what it means. It means you're mine. I've got you on tape. Tapes now that are in the possession of the FBI and DOJ. And damn it, they better release them. He also
doesn't matter if they release them or not. It matters if these people are held accountable and if they're arrested and charged and freaking. I think some of them should face the death penalty, if not all of them. How many children do you think these individuals have personally brutalized and done, like I said, God only knows what with their remains afterwards? And this is where I say it's both the Democratic and Republican parties. I don't think it's one side or the other. Because look, Jeffrey Epstein also had paintings of George Bush. This is a deep-seated, evil, evil problem. And I think until we see these members of Congress that have been in there forever actually out of office, we're never going to see change. Because they're all involved. They're all complicit. They've all known about or heard about or witnessed some of these crimes. They all know. And so if you arrest one for the crimes and then you find out that Joe Smith next door also knew about the crimes, shouldn't they also be arrested? So would we even have any members of Congress left? Would we even have anyone in office? I think the reality is, in order to actually hold people accountable, we'd be left without a government. It would probably destroy our nation to actually hold every member accountable. But guess what? I'm okay with a reset. I am completely fine if every single person, every single judge, every single lawyer, every single member of the CIA, FBI, every single person had to go down for this. I'd be okay with it. I would be completely fine with it.
But a very strange photo, a painting of George Bush.
Peter G! Girl, I hope you're feeling good. I'm so glad to see you.
In a childlike pose, flying paper airplanes into Jenga towers. Okay. That's a recording for another time. But
Oh, paper airplanes into Jenga towers. Well, that sounds familiar to something that potentially may or may not have happened during his presidency. I don't think we need to dive into the 9/11 conspiracy theories right now, but very interesting.
You infer what you think that is. The point is that we don't know much about Jeffrey Epstein or his art. We haven't seen much inside of his properties since these people are so outward about what they have going on. Be interesting to see more. James O'Keefe has promised more. Last week he dropped a video where Prince Andrew was effing underage girls. Tape of royal family advisor exposes Prince Andrew's sexual relations with minors and deep ties to Jeffrey Epstein. That's news and certainly is of note, but James promised more. Okay, well, let's wait and watch James cook. And here we go. James says tomorrow, and he gives geographic location on a map. Where is that geographic location? Well, it's right here. That would be Little St. James. This would be Epstein's Island.
I didn't realize I was muted. This is Benny Johnson, for those of you guys who don't know who he is. I do watch his videos. I watch Davory Darkins a lot also. Davory, in my very open and very, very honest about which parts of his videos are opinions and which parts are fact. He uses Ground News for a ton of stuff. Benny Johnson is a little bit more theatrical, I would say, with how he presents things. But he also, like I said, he shares the video from James O'Keefe, which is why we're watching this right now. So we can see inside of the Epstein thing. But I also wanted to play the backstory a little bit beforehand. So that's why we're watching the full video. But he has a little bit more theatrics for how he presents things and how he talks about it than Davory does. But yeah, they're both really good political commentators, in my opinion, for stuff that they cover. I would say that Benny, though, is a little bit more clickbaity. Like I said, tons of bombshell this, bombshell that. And then it's like, well, there's not really been any bombshells there, Benny. Really, it's the same crap, different day, different party in charge, and we're not seeing anything. I think that come midterms, we're going to end up losing seats for the Republican Party. And the reason's going to be because of their inaction. We gave them majority in both houses, and we are seeing absolutely nothing done. And it's going to suck. It's going to be sad. But again, 5 bills, that's it. 5 bills done. It's just infuriating.
The main residence, in fact, on Epstein's Island, right there. You can see here the Little St. James Island, the famous temple, and so on. I believe this would be the famous temple site right here, since decommissioned, or has it been? More on that in just a second. So now James has released what was, well, the reporting and the purpose of this tweet with this location. And it is the first footage inside of Jeffrey Epstein's house on Little St. James. Now, Up till now, all we've seen has been drone footage of the island mansion. Here you can see drone footage of federal agents storming the mansion and taking away boxes of evidence, including having Jeffrey Epstein's Apple, you can see there, his Mac screen and tower wrapped up as evidence. Where is all that, you dumb bastards? Where is it? They keep lying to us, the American people. They keep lying to us as though we don't have this footage. But of course, this drone wasn't able to get inside of the house. James O'Keefe has footage inside of the house. We'll play it for you now. And we have something very important to break down for you afterwards because we noticed something here. Let's go.
Like, I still want to know, how did James O'Keefe get the footage? Why does he have the footage? Why are we seeing stuff start getting leaked to social media and to social media people, and yet we are still not seeing any arrest? I swear to God, you guys, if this all comes out as oh, these are the individuals in the videos, like we got, Bill Clinton and George Bush and whatever other celebrities and everybody else that they're going to name. I'm just going to say those two because those two have already been in the video or in this video here. And I swear, if they come out and they say, hey, these are the individuals who were responsible for the rape and murder of how many thousands of children over the years, and they were in videos doing this stuff and blah blah blah, I swear, and then we don't see arrest, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. Like, because it's not okay. I'm so sick and tired of stuff just being put out like, oh, it was the CIA that killed RFK. Like, haha, sorry about that, you guys. But nobody's held accountable? Are you serious? We just oh, sorry about that. Haha, it was us. What? Excuse you? I know it takes time to arrest people. I know it takes time to form criminal cases against people. Let me see. I don't even know how many years it's been. So he was arrested. Jeffrey Epstein was arrested on the morning of August 10th, 2019. You're going to tell me that in 6 years, they have not been able to file charges against every individual that they've seen in those videos for at least one of the cases? Nothing? Nothing in 6 years? You weren't able to build a case for at least one of the cases? You don't have to take them down on every single child at this moment, but you could certainly get them all off of the streets. Yeah, I think all of America would lose their minds. I do too. I swear, though, they better not just start releasing this like this, because this is disgusting.
Media is releasing never-before-seen footage from inside the buildings on Jeffrey Epstein's island. The island, known as Little St. James, is located in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Drones have flown overhead in the past, independent journalists have snuck ashore, but no footage or images from inside these buildings has ever been published until now. This footage was captured about a year after Epstein's arrest. In this world-exclusive, O'Keefe Media Group takes you through the kitchen inside the main mansion, a villa used for hosting high-profile visitors and events. Through our reporting, we can confirm this footage is authentic. You'll see the entire kitchen is a sterile white with stainless steel appliances.
So a year after his arrest, who took this video? Probably something to do with the police, I'm sure, or maybe what, they released the island? I don't know. Yeah, 6 years gave a lot of important people time to cover their tracks. Maybe. Maybe.
There are sparse decorations, including a few pieces of coral, but there does appear one prominent artwork, a large framed photo of a nude baby in a sink. The baby is holding a phallic-shaped object. The image is hung above the kitchen table. It begs the question, why did Jeffrey Epstein choose to place this image inside of a kitchen where visitors would eat, cook, and entertain? The publication of this footage comes on the heels of a report last week of a royal fixer admitting Prince Andrew had sex with underage girls.
Okay, so we've done a little extra research on this, and we found some very disturbing facts about what was displayed here in Jeffrey Epstein's kitchen. This is the best that we have right here of the image. It is of a child with a phallic toy object. We'll get to that in just a second. And then another painting inside of this image. What's going on here exactly? Well, the baby in the bathtub is obviously disturbing. This isn't normal artwork. You wouldn't obviously want to hang photos of naked babies in your house. This artwork behind the baby, however, is a Picasso painting. Here it is. The toy rattle that the baby was holding here is a Little Tikes maraca musical instrument, shaker, red handle. We're not sure about what that might mean, but we do know what the painting's about. The painting's about drowning children. Les Sauvetage, okay, meaning the rescue in English, is a series of paintings by Pablo Picasso, created in 1932, depicting the rescue of children from drowning. The central figure in these works is Picasso's lover and muse, who was the subject of the rescue scene. The painting captures dramatic seaside rescue. The figure is engaged in beach activities while the languid body of a bather is hoisted from the water. The figures in the painting draw unmistakable style of Maria Theresa, as she was depicted in Picasso's earlier works from that year. The series is inspired when she fell into a river and contracted a near-fatal illness. This painting was purchased for $31 million in Sotheby's in New York, exceeding its valuation by 75%. Some say that the painting may have been purchased by the Saudi crown prince. Anyway, this seems to be some type of symbolism here behind this child, the saving of innocent people from drowning, and the baby in the bath. It's freaking dark, man. But you might say, hey, listen, that's not really much in the James O'Keefe video. There's not really a lot going on there. Well, if James has this video inside of the island, is he teasing more releases? Yes, he is. At the beginning of the video, James says we have more videos, plural, from inside of the island, and that we'll be releasing them soon. This may be just the first in a series, we'd have to assume.
And it is. So here's the next one. Yeah, who is the baby? I don't know. Yeah, it's Sluice. Yeah. So let's see here. Oh, A-list rapper forced to endorse Kamala after Diddy. Blackmail? Oh, interesting. So Usher was named. But is Usher being held accountable for anything? Or no? Just gonna let it go, right? I can't even. Where's the other one? So there's more videos. Hold on. Here is the Epstein bedroom. Okay, I think this is the next one. Yeah, so James O'Keefe said, I think it's time for citizen journalists to release more on Epstein. If they're going to kill us, they'll have to kill us all. Coming soon. So Virginia Giuffre had posted that she was not suicidal. She has made it known to her therapist and to her lawyers, things like that. For those of you guys who don't know who she is the victim of Epstein, and she was trafficked to the royal family, and she came out and spoke about it. And she, talked about how she was trafficked to Prince Andrew and other individuals, and how she was forced to do things with Epstein and all the things, right? And so she was the only live witness that was willing to come forward, basically, about everything. And she was living in Australia and randomly was hit by a bus, and then a couple weeks later committed suicide after saying that she is not suicidal. She allegedly committed suicide. And almost instantly afterwards, her family was like, oh, yeah, she was suicidal. But her dad and her lawyer came out and said that she was not suicidal and that her death was not a suicide. But really, what it comes down to is it looks like they finally were successfully able to silence her. Now, it's important to note that the fact that she was struck by a vehicle and nobody was ever held accountable for that either. It was just this random hit and run type attack. So they were probably hoping that she would have died and then she didn't. So then she had to be suicided. And it's disgusting. So anyway, so after that happened, James O'Keefe, decided that he was going to start releasing this stuff. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's very sus. Get to the video though. Okay.
Other buildings on the Epstein property. James O'Keefe is getting these videos, he says, from government sources. Here you can see the creepy baby video.
Government sources. Like, that's not okay with me.
Library. There's the temple, right? That's so famous. But James is getting these videos from government sources. This is very interesting. So the feds are now leaking to James, and James now has more internal, very disturbing footage from Epstein's island. Let's go to James's newest video.
To release more never-before-seen video and images from inside Jeffrey Epstein's former island home, showing bizarre statues and a cryptic message written on a chalkboard by Jeffrey Epstein himself. The Jeffrey Epstein Island, also known as Little St. James in the Virgin Islands. Last time we took you inside the kitchen to show that really creepy image of a baby in a sink. YouTubers have snuck on the island. Luke Radowski, Tyler Olivier getting images of the outside of the structures. But today we're going to take you inside the structures, inside Jeffrey Epstein's library. We're going to take a closer look. Now, this has never been seen before. We are now inside the library. Dozens of books line the walls, including literature like Ernest Hemingway's Selected Letters, vacation reads such as Robert Ludlum's The Bourne Ultimatum, denser titles like The Golden Age of Theoretical Physics, and Salman Rushdie's Satanic Verses. Now, a closer inspection revealed unusual objects, statuettes of winged figures in plague masks, and one of a semi-nude young woman washing herself while seated on a bidet. Video and photos inside the library also show a horse whip, which is right here under the chalkboard, apparently crafted from leather and bones. And then we go to this chalkboard over here. Now, this chalkboard displayed cryptic words, including the word power, deception, mirror in face, dank brain, among others. Now, the chalkboard's message remains a mystery, and we're hoping that some of you in the audience can help decipher and ascertain what Epstein might be talking about here. This is, again, right after he was arrested. We compared the words on the chalkboard to a note Epstein wrote in his prison cell before his death. Several letters and letter combinations from the note match those on the chalkboard, which leads us to believe they were in fact written by Jeffrey Epstein. And we're not sure what this means, but we're hoping you in the audience can take a look at this and tell us what you think he was trying to say here. Was it a message he was sending to the world? We're receiving a lot of images, videos, and photos as a result of our reporting. These sources reaching out to us include those within the government, people who don't trust anybody, including our own Department of Justice. These people are reaching out to us on Signal at 914-491-9395. We're currently corroborating the material, producing the material, backing it up on secure drives, and producing our very next Epstein report, which should come out tomorrow. The type of journalism that we do is not free. We just got sued yesterday. We have to hire lawyers to defend ourselves. As you know, we've been raided by the FBI. I've been arrested by the FBI. None of this is inexpensive. Our subscribers get these reports first with exclusive behind-the-scenes footage coverage. By subscribing to O'Keefe Media, you allow us to be independent, free from advertising pressures or donor pressures, and you enable us to operate impartially and without fear. Subscribe to OMG today, and you will get our next Epstein report first.
James O'Keefe saying that he has sources inside of the government that are now leaking the Epstein documents to him, the Epstein files. This is crazy because James Comer, who's head of government oversight, says that he hopes that this happened. He told me this last week on the show, live on the stream. James Comer says, I hope that the feds start leaking to James O'Keefe. That would be the best way to actually get the Epstein documents out, just leak them to James.
But why do we have to leak them? right? So why do we have to have the oversight committee saying, "Oh, I hope the feds start leaking things"? Why aren't the feds just doing their dang jobs? Why aren't people just being arrested? Why aren't we seeing this all come out through a court process? I want to see the information as much as you guys. I want to know what's in there. I want to understand, what happened and things like that. But more than I want to see what the documents hold and whose names are on those lists and things of that nature. More than I want to see that, I want to see accountability for what took place. I want to see these individuals go down for this nasty evilness that they have done for years. This has been going on for years. Epstein owned his island since 1998. 1998, he owned that island. So at least since 1998. Probably much, much longer than that. This is the same evil repeated over and over again, all throughout the different generations. Look at the nasty, disgusting things that were in the MLK documents that were released about the sex scandals and the things that were taking place and through that. It's the same evil repeated. It's time to be done. Enough is enough. Like, there needs to be accountability for the things that took place. And not a slap on the wrist, not a public shaming and they lose their seat in office. These individuals need held accountable, placed in prison for the rest of their lives, and or the death penalty, depending on what type of evidence that they have in them. And that's my opinion. I know not everybody believes in the death penalty, but if you have an individual who has literally done terrible things to probably thousands of children, there is no redemption for those people. There's no way to rehabilitate those individuals. Right? Imagine the healing process this could be for some of the survivors too. And I'm willing to bet, Sluice, unfortunately, that there is probably not very many survivors. I hate to even say that out loud, but unless they were like older teenagers, I highly doubt that we are going to see a slew of children come out and say that they were victims on this island or that they were victims of such and such president or they were victims of such and such uh, senator or house leader or whatever. In my opinion, they probably had these individuals on this island had their selected child or children, and then likely those children probably never seen the light of day afterwards. They would not have left victims to be evidence. They made that mistake with Virginia, and they made sure not to make that mistake again, in my opinion. And that's why I think that they have the constant state of always seeking more children. Why do they want to let so many illegal immigrants come through with children that can't be tracked or traced? Why? Because you need a constant supply for the evilness that you are doing. Period. Why they fight against so hard ending and closing the border. We are probably looking at hundreds of thousands of millions of innocent lives over the past 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. How long has it really been going on? Was Epstein just the new location? Was he just the new person who was allowing it to take place? I don't know. And then you have people like Diddy, right? They always take one person and make them be the fall person. Okay, time to go down, Diddy. People are looking into stuff a little bit too hard. Sorry about that. Time for you to go. Sorry. You got to spend the rest of your lives in jail because we certainly aren't. I agree, Seal. Even if someone did come out, no one would believe them. I'm just the whole situation is just disgusting. And honestly, if we don't see Pam Bondi actually make a move, they went and did this press conference about the trafficking ring that was busted recently. I think it was what 140 traffickers arrested. Hold on. There's that. Let me pull it up. I'm trying to find it. Oh, here we are. $205. Says FBI arrest child traffic abuse offenders and nationwide crackdown. 5 charged in Los Angeles. 5. Okay. But since the end of April, FBI arrested 205 subjects across the country and rescued 115 children. This is great, right? This is great. We cheer every time that we see these. I would say though that these do actually happen quite frequently, where different localities go out and they get these different initiatives to arrest 100 to 200 or whatever people. But you know what you don't see in these 205 individuals that were arrested? You don't see the big people getting arrested, the actual leaders of these types of organizations, the people who turned a blind eye to it for years and years and years. You don't see the people in power being held accountable, because I do believe that there are quite a few, right? So it says that there were 5 individuals charged in the District of California, because I believe this is a Los Angeles thing. So I'm glad that they're making the moves to get uh, the not well-known individuals. Yeah, Florida just had a big bust too. They are busting more and more people. There are probably thousands or hundreds of thousands of these sick individuals amongst our crowds, and they all need arrested. But again, where does this appetite come from? Who allowed it to begin with? Who puts these images online? Who propagates this information at first to be able to even be spread out, to allow these servers to exist, to have these individuals uh, be able to link up and do these types of crimes and have these children at their access, and things like that. Uh, it all comes down to the people in power, the Epstein Islands, the Diddy Island, or Diddy, what are they called, freak offs, things like that. It all needs to stop. But I am glad, like I said, that some of these people, but it's still not everyone. It's not everyone. I want to see charges. I want to see charges for the Epstein list. So it says notable names appearing in released documents was Prince Andrew, Michael Jackson, David Copperfield, Leonardo DiCaprio, Stephen Hawking, Alan Dershowitz, Les Wexner, Bill Clinton, Bill Richardson. There's so many people. The list does not imply guilt, but being on the list does not automatically mean that the person was involved in any wrongdoing or aware of Epstein's criminal activities. But we just heard the McCain wife say that they all knew. They all knew, right? So they just passed a law. There was one of the bills that just passed. Hold on. Melania Trump helped with the Take It Down Act. Says Trump signs Take It Down Act criminalizing revenge porn and deep fakes. In a historical Rose Garden ceremony, President Donald Trump signed the Take It Down Act into law in a bipartisan bill aimed at protecting children and families from online exploitation. In a historic Rose Garden ceremony, President Donald Trump signed the Take It Down Act into law, a bipartisan bill aimed at protecting children and families from online exploitation. First Lady Melania Trump, a key advocate for the legislation, joined the president in the ceremony, marking the significant milestone for her Be Best initiative. The new law makes it a federal crime to knowingly publish or threaten to publish intimate images without consent, including AI generated deepfakes, and requires social media companies to remove such comment within 48 hours of a victim's request. The website and social media also endure the steps of taking to delete any duplicates. AI and social media are the digital candy for the next generation, as sweet, addictive, and engineered to have the impact on cognitive development of our children, Melania Trump said. But unlike sugar, these new technologies can be weaponized, shape beliefs, and sadly affect the emotions and even be deadly. President Trump emphasized the need to protect women and children from online exploitation, stating, countless women have been harassed with deepfakes and other explicit images distributed against their will. Today, we are making it totally illegal. The president also commended Melania Trump for her leadership on the issue, saying, I want to thank Melania for your leadership on this very important issue. America is blessed to have such a dedicated and compassionate First Lady. Melania Trump, in her first solo appearance, urged members of Congress to pass the bill in March. It's heartbreaking to witness young teens, especially girls, grappling at the overwhelming challenges possessed by malicious online content like deepfakes. The Take It Down Act received overwhelming bipartisan support in Congress, passing the House by a 409-2 vote and clearing the Senate by unanimous consent. The law has been hailed as a major victory for victims of online exploitation, with many advocates and lawmakers expressing gratitude for the president's signature. So, tech companies such as Meta, TikTok, and Google have also supported the legislation. However, some critics have come forward to say that the law raises concerns about privacy and free speech infringement. TikTok is one I don't agree with. Yes, me too. There's so many children on there dancing in provocative clothing, all to be preyed on. It's terrifying. It is. I don't understand, honestly, why so many people um, think that it's necessary to allow their children access to stuff like that. Whenever it comes right down to it, it's one thing if your account is completely private and only is shared with your select friends or family, but keep in mind you never know who a pedo is. You never know who you never know who has not been convicted of these crimes that could still just be a creeper. And so that's something you have to like keep in mind. But as far as like TikTok and things like that goes, I will never get it. And I don't know why the companies allow it. So, oh man. But I don't know. Enough about my ranting and raving about politics for the last hour and a half. Sorry about that. I don't know. This is where my mind has been. I've been watching everything. I've been watching everything that's been going on and just trying to understand, more about why things are happening the way it is. So, I don't know, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here for now, though. I got to go get some stuff done around the house, and actually be productive today. And then I will see you guys again soon. I'm not going to say when because every time that I plan to come live and I say a date, then something happens. And so I'm not going to tell you guys when because I cannot tell you. Um oh yeah, no, Sluice, you are not alone. You are not alone. It's just I am happy with some of the changes that we have seen so far from Trump. I am happy with some of the executive orders that he has signed. I'm frustrated that the district court judges have been able to block him as much as they have been. But he can only do so much. He can only do so much. And he needs our government to get up and get something done. And he needs the people that he put in place to hold people accountable. Actually do it. Actually hold them accountable. Yeah, go touch some dirt. I'm gonna be touching all kinds of dirt, y'all. My house needs a deep clean. So we will be doing that. Yeah, take care, Annie. I hope you guys all have a good day. Everybody go touch dirt. Talk to you guys all later. Bye.